Hello and welcome to MotionRC.com. I'm your product specialist, Wesley, joined by the Air Category Manager, Chris Wolfe himself, here to look at the all-new Nexa Corsair. Chris, welcome in. Tell the guys a little bit about this beautiful airplane you've been developing.
Yeah, this is the Nexa Corsair. It's a beautiful model, nice big size, 72-inch wingspan. And so this is a model that I had my hands involved with from almost the beginning. And so I'm really excited that it's finally come to market, and we thought we would share some of the insights of what we did behind the scenes to make this model even better.
Now, Chris, you were actually pretty involved with the overall development of this model. You've had one for quite a while beforehand. Why don't you tell the guys a little bit about what you learned from the early sample up until production and what you actually were changing on it?
Yeah, that's right, Wes. So when I first started, it's actually approaching a year now that I've been with Motion RC. And when I first started, I was contacting the vendors and introducing myself and finding out what was, in the works from a development standpoint. And so when I contacted our Nexa vendor, one, he was really excited to learn that I had joined the team. He was familiar with me through my YouTube channel, the RC Geek. And so he was really excited to be working with me, and he's been really fun to work with. He's an enthusiast just like we are. And so he's really passionate about what they do, and so I'm really excited to be able to work alongside him and make his products that much better and that much easier for you guys to assemble. And so with specifically to the Corsair, he mentioned, hey, I've got this Corsair in the works. I said, man, that's awesome. It looks great. How can I be more involved? And so what I ended up doing, one of the other things when I first started was, let's find out what the pain points are for customers on these Nexa airplanes. And so there were a few items that I knew that we could roll into this Corsair right away. And so those included, the motor mount, having a pre-built motor mount for our electric motor setup that we recommend. That was the first thing. I said, hey, this is the motor we're gonna install into this airplane that we're gonna recommend for guys. And so I had him design a motor mount box that just bolts to the firewall that specifically sets the spacing for our motor. And so that comes pre-built in the box. One of the other big things was the retracts, right? So the Nexa vendor has tended to use more of the, I'll say, free wing style of retracts, but in these larger models, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, right? Because the robustness isn't necessarily there. And so we talked about all metal retracts, and he went for the all metal retracts. He designed it around them. They're, twist and turn, 90-degree rotating retracts, all metal, and they are made by the same vendor that make our X-Wave retracts that are absolutely bulletproof. So these are essentially X-Wave retracts that you are getting in this Corsair. And so that is what we're recommending, and they are absolutely fantastic, and they work great. And so those were items I knew that I could do from afar really easily. And so what I ended up having him do, once he had a prototype built, he had flown it, he was working on some production, I had him send me an early sample so that way I could put it together, make sure that everything else fits right the way that it needs to fit. And so through that, I discovered that, hey, the servo trays, they're not pre-built. Let's pre-build those. Oh, and by the way, for our recommended servos, we need to adjust the spacing a little bit. So he adjusted the spacing. He's pre-built the servo trays for us. And so that was another one that, we wouldn't have found out otherwise, right, had I not received the sample early to make sure that, everything else was good to go, right? And so the other part of that I discovered in the process, he's like, hey, I'm gonna pre-build the main gear doors, right? So the main gear doors come pre-built out of the box, pre-set up. All you got to do is connect the servo and they actuate them. That is a huge time saver. The whole idea behind this in the approach that we took for this model was to try and simplify the assembly as much as physically possible. And for as large of an airplane as it is, it's a really quick setup. It goes together really quickly, really easily. Yeah, it's a really nicely done design, and it really flies fantastically too.
You know, it's been fun. Here lately, I've built a lot of Nexa planes. We just did the BF-109, and it's cool. I'm keeping a list of everything I'm using. I send it to Chris. That way we can update our product page and make sure whatever we're recommending was actually what fit in the aircraft too. Not just on the Corsair, but on any Nexa aircraft now. We're working really hard to start trying to update those things to make them as easy and painless for the customer as we can for you guys to put these planes together, because they're a lot of fun to assemble them, but we also understand that sometimes it's not the best when something doesn't fit. So that's what we're trying to fix with these things as we move forward. It's been really nice, Chris, and I'm amazed at this Corsair. It looks beautiful. I didn't even realize that you had the doors where they were already pre-installed and set up. I mean, that's an awesome little feature on that too, so amazing.
So yeah, the gear doors, that is an amazing feature. Like if you guys have ever tried to set up gear doors in some of these airplanes, it can be a real pain. And so these come out of the box all set up, which is amazing. One of the other things that I did work with the vendor on is that the hatch, you know, for battery access, receiver access, all that stuff. Originally, it was a different design where you had to do these screws in the sides. You know, for a hatch, you're going to be taken on and off. You want to have regular access to. And so now it comes with the hatch pins, right? Spring-loaded hatch pins, so you can access, take that access hatch off really easily, really quickly out of the field, and so you don't have to spend a bunch of time doing that.
I'd love to see that update done on a lot of the Nexa line aircraft. I mean, I have the B-20 before behind me. It's the same thing. It's got the 4 screws on it. You know, they work just fine, but like you said, there's nothing that beats like hitting the buttons and it pops off. I mean, that's great. So, I mean, I'd love to see some of those updates maybe make it into some of the other models too in time.
Yeah, 100%. That's definitely one that we could probably easily backdate some of the other models, but you know, this whole approach is definitely going forward. This is the direction we want to go with all of it. And so as I'm working with the vendor, you know, understanding what customers want, right? What you guys out there really want, and trying to just address that, make sure that because the reality is we do hear you, right? We do hear the challenges that you have, and we are working diligently to resolve them as best that we can. And so, you know, the feedback is always appreciated. And so we do listen to it. We do our best to address it. And so, you know, with this model specifically, my whole goal was to create a benchmark that we are going to create going forward for new offerings in the Nexa lineup.
Yeah, and it's funny, you were saying, you know, we listen to our customers. A lot of guys don't know that new BF-109 that came out, that actually has a paint job that a customer submitted, which is pretty darn cool to have that little thing that went on there. I mean, I know that's not the Corsair right now, but guys, that's how this happens. You guys are asking us questions, you're sending things into our customer service department, and we're listening to you. So we want you to know that.
Yeah, and we actually have a whole product suggestions line. There's an option on the website. You can submit a product suggestion. And so, yeah, like with the BF-109, the new green scheme that came out, that was a request by a customer because, you know, that was a scheme that was available at some point. And so they saw that and said, okay, I'd really like to get one. And so we were able to make that happen.
Now, coming off of the color scheme things on that one, let's talk about the Corsair's color scheme. Now, you worked back and forth with the vendor on this to get the colors a little bit more accurate on this model too beforehand.
I did, yeah. So I did work with the vendor to select the paint schemes that were offered, and so those were a direct result of, you know, us working together. I did work with him to try and get the colors as accurate as we could get them. You know, I don't know if you guys are aware, but the Nexa vendor uses a silk screen process that is used. They silk screen the color schemes onto a PVC material, and so trying to get. I'm regularly working to try and help get their color mixtures to be more accurate. I've got federal standard color chips here that I'm referencing, and I did provide them some feedback based on the colors that I was seeing in pictures and such. And so once I received the model, I gave him additional color references, so going forward, maybe we can darken some things up or lighten some things up just to try and match the colors a bit better. And so that is definitely an evolutionary process, because the challenge is that the vendors don't have the federal standard color chips, but I can coordinate Pantone references to the FS color chips, and so I've been working with them to get our colors on all of the airplanes, not just the wood, but all of the models, as accurate as we can get them based on the references that I provide for them. And so in the case of the Corsair, there has been some comment about the chipping and all that stuff. These did get pretty heavily weathered during the war, and so that being said, we are working with them on adjusting the methods and trying to get more accurate representations of the weathering and stuff like that. And so that being said, the beauty about this material is that it really takes paint beautifully. And so if you're on the fence about the Corsair and you're not sure about the color scheme or the paint chipping or whatever, man, it is so easy to paint. You literally just scuff it up, shoot a coat of primer on it, and you can paint it all day long. And I've actually found some references for spray paints and federal standard colors and all kinds of stuff. And so there's really, the sky's the limit that you can do on these models. And so that's what I really like about them so much, is one, you get a nice large airplane that is ripe for detailing and doing all kinds of that fun stuff. Like the sample I have here, it's actually sitting here on the table in primer. I've done a bunch of detailing work with it because I really liked it so much that I really wanted to make it my own. That's what I personally really like to do on these models, is to personalize and make them my own, and not just have something that anybody else can have out at the field. And so that's what's beautiful about this and that material that they put on these airplanes, is you can do that really easily.
Now, if they're wanting to see what you're doing on that, are they going to see that here at Motion RC, or are they going to follow you on RC Geek to see the actual project when you finish that aircraft out?
So that will be on my own channel, and so that'll be hoping probably around November timeframe. That'll probably post. It's kind of hard. I'm so busy that I wasn't actually even able to post anything on my channel for like months, and so I'm starting to kind of get the swing again. But yeah, so that'll be on my channel at some point.
Yeah.
And we could do a feature on the YouTube on our Motion RC channel too, just showing what you can really do with these models.
And for anybody that's new to Motion RC, finding us from this, you should also check out the RC Geek channel. He's done some really cool stuff with the Panther lately and a couple other free wing models here. So, I mean, if you haven't followed him and you like painting things, I will say The Art of Scale Modeling, it's a great book. Check him out, guys. Learn a little bit about it. The man knows a lot. That's why he's here doing what he's doing. So it's a good channel to follow if you're an RC. Well, Chris, this has been a really fun project for me to watch from the outside. I honestly haven't got to see one yet, but I can't wait till we get to meet up in person and I get to fly yours. Wink. But man, it is a beautiful, beautiful airplane. I mean, I got to watch Lori editing everything on this one, and I was just like drooling all over it. I was a little jealous, but man, it's beautiful, and I think customers are just gonna love it if they get one of these airplanes.
Well, and I want to say, like, in terms of the flight characteristics, it's a fantastic flying model, and so being wood, you can do anything with it, right? It's a choose your own adventure kind of deal, and we have put together a full bundle of absolutely everything you need to finish it, right? And that includes servo extension wires, the servos, of course, all of that stuff that we could think of that you would need. And so we have an all-inclusive bundle available for the model. And so we were trying to do that going forward as best as we can. But otherwise, flying the airplane, it flies beautifully. It looks amazing in the air. It really does. It's got that perfect Corsair silhouette flying around. It's really fantastic.
Oh yeah, it was beautiful, beautiful pictures of it too. I mean, it's a very photogenic aircraft. Chris, it has been a blast coming on here today. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule to come on and talk to everybody about the aircraft. And it's been a great day here at Motion RC, man.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, Wes. I love just sharing the behind the scenes because there's a whole lot going on that you guys don't see, and we just want to talk about it and let you know how involved we are and what's going on. And because there's a lot of really exciting stuff happening, and so yeah, I'm excited for the future.
Yep, I am too, man. Well, Chris, we gotta say it, man. Whether it's air,
Land,
or sea,
you can get it right here.
Right here at Motion RC.
At Motion RC.
Well, guys, I hope you loved it. We'll see you in the next video.
Bye, guys.
Bye.